Jayatu Sri Ramakrishna. Now I am going to present to you 79th of episode Sri Ramakrishna KATHAMRITER. KATHAMRITER Katha, Amrita Katha in English. For a long time I was not attend you. Now I try to come with the epic concept of Sri Ramakrishna on Raga Bhakti and Anuraga Ranjan. Here is a situation. Master was sitting and Ramlal Dada, who was able to service himself in the pain of Master Masai, Sri Ma, the capital M. The master wanted to hear a few songs. Ramlal and Brahmin official of the temple garden sang. So here is Ramlal Dada and an official worker. He was also Brahmin by caste. We are attend there. They were sung a devotional song. Dwell, O Lord, O lover of bhakti, in the Vrindavan of my heart, and my devotion unto thee will be thy Radha dearly loved. And so long it was. Now I come to you in Bengali, the rest of it. হৃদি বৃন্দাবনে বাস যদি কর কমলাপতি, ওহে ভক্তি প্রিয়, আমার ভক্তি হবে রাধা সতী। মুক্তি কামনা আমারই, হবে বৃন্দে গোপনারী। দেহ হবে নন্দের পুরী, স্নেহ হবে মা যশোমতী। আমায় ধরো ধরো জনার্দন, পাপভার গোবর্ধন। কামাদি ছয় কংসচরে, ধ্বংস করো সম্প্রতি। বাজাই কৃপা বাঁশরি, মন ধেনুকে বশ করি। তিষ্ট সিদ্ধির গোষ্ঠী, পুরাও ইষ্ট এই মিনতি। আমার প্রেমরূপ যমুনা কূলে, আশাবংশী বটমূলে। সদাস ভেবে সদয় ভাবে, সতত কর বসতি। যদি বলো রাখাল প্রেমে, বন্দি থাকি ব্রজধামে। জ্ঞানহীন রাখাল তোমার দাস হবে, হে দাশরথী। A devotional song on Bhakti Yoga. Sri Radhika, the key person of devotion, is he not bless anybody? He or she never got bhakti, devotion. It is eternal. It is eternal. It is most spiritual when a sadhaka or sadhika will got it. He or she have nothing to want from the God, others. It is very better in spiritualism. Bhakti is the last thing. Ramakrishna was said by a song of Ramaprasad said that আমি ভক্তি দিতে ডরাই, আমি ভক্তি দিতে ডরাই। That means when we got bhakti, when sadhak or sadhika got bhakti, the God will be behind of sadhak or sadhika, because bhakti is so much emotional that attracted the God. It is the mole point of this song. And again, here is full in English. And again, they was sung another song. The dark wood of the summer storm fades into nothingness when fluid in hand and the smile of heap leaves, the lightning of world with his loveliness, Krishna, the dark one appears, his dazzling yellow robe, the outgleams even the lightning's gleam. A wraith of the wild lowers the interwoven and gently swings from his youthful breast and softly kiss his feet. See, there he stands, the Lord of life and moon of Nanda's line, the outshining all the moons in heaven, and with the splendor of his rays, the flooding and Jamuna's bank. He stands there, thus stealing the maidens' hearts. He lures them from the hearth and home. Krishna enters my own heart's siren, and with his fluid note steals away my wisdom, life, and soul. To whom shall Ganga Narayana pour out his tale of woe? Ah, friend, you might have understood, have you but gone to the Jamuna's bank to fill your water jar. In English, it was completed by the Master Mosai, but in Bengali, it is same. নবনীরদ বরণ কৃষগণ্য শ্যাম চাঁদ রূপ হেরে করেতে বাঁশি অধরে হাসি রূপে ভুবন আলো করে জড়িত পিতবসন তড়িত যিনি ঝলমল আন্দৌলিত চরণাবধি হৃদি সরজেই বনমাল নিতে যুবতী জাতে কুল আলো করে যমুনাকুল নন্দকুল চন্দ্র যত চন্দ্র যিনি বিহরে শ্যামগুণ ধাম পশি হাম হৃদি মন্দিরে প্রাণ মন জ্ঞান সখী হরে নীল বাঁশির স্বরে গঙ্গা নারায়ণের যে দুঃখ সে কথা বলিব কারে জানতে যদি যেতে গো সখী যমুনার জল আনিবারে। Very fantastic a description of Sri Krishna. He was black in view and a yellow garments in his wear, very beautiful to look. Can you think that the modern model would not justify it, but nearly 5,000 years ago, Sri Krishna was dressed so much matching, which was looking bright, black, but yellow garments, yellow dhoti in his wear. And here is the first son. We have learned the Kangsha Ori, that means 6, Chanur, Bakasur, Aghasur, Putana and others too. They were always tried to kill Sri Krishna, the boy Sri Krishna, but they were all defeated and killed him and assassinated by Sri Krishna. It was the charm, it was the story of mythological. So we can learn the third song. শ্যামাপদ আকাশেতে মন ঘুড়ি খান উড়িতেছিল, কলুষের কু বাতাস পেয়ে গোপ্তা পেয়ে পড়ে গেল। ইন ইংলিশ, again they sang, high in the heaven of the mother's speech, my mind was soaring like a kite. When came a blast of sin's wrath, wind that drove it swiftly toward the earth, and so on. Here is sketch only, so we can progress. Master, to the devotees, as the tiger devours other animals, so does the tiger of zeal for a lord eat up the lust, anger, and the other passions. Once this zeal grows in the heart, the lust and the other passions disappear. The gopis of Vrindavana had that state of mind because of their zeal for Krishna. Anurag. We know Anurag means the condensed form of milk, the condensed form of butter. That is love. Love, the milk condensed, that is called cow, and the extract is called butter. And here is the love, the deep love, that is called anurag. Here is a very good example was used by my master, that the tiger usually hunting or victimed the other animals in the forest. And when the anurag bhakti will come to the heart of sadhaka or sadhika, they will lose the passions like lust, kama means desire, and the other passions such as anger, krodh, and others. Krodh, lust, kama, desire, others. Kam, krodh, lobh, moha, mada, maschurya, others. It is called by master that the zeal of God, zeal of Krishna was got by the gopis of Vrindavana, Gopabala gopis. They were smartly elder than Krishna. Krishna was only 11 to 12 years old, a teenager. But the gopis were mostly elder than Krishna, but they were always eagerly wanted to see, eagerly wanted to accompany Krishna, because Krishna was the mostly a form of love. He was the love of personified. It was the great. And again, the zeal of God, zeal for God, is compared of colorium. Colorium means anjan, kajal in Bengali, collyrium, Radha, said for her friends, I seek Krishna everywhere. They replied, friend, you have painted your eyes with the collyrium of love. That is why you see Krishna everywhere. Radha. He was in blood relation, that the maternal auntie. Therefore, she was the lover of Krishna. It is a charm of our mythology, Hindu mythology. She was always eager about Krishna, such as she has a collyrium of Krishna, love collyrium of Krishna, and it was made of honey by his courtiers, the others of Radha. Next, they say that when your eyes are painted with collyrium made from the ashes of frogs, yet you see the snakes everywhere. Sri Ramakrishna always take out everything, the Vedanta, the mythology, with the simple example to understand easily. So here is an example that the collyrium of the frog ashes, frog head ashes, that means we know frog. They were usually found in the rainy season. In the rainy season, they are in size big. They have a sound gong. The frog usually we see in Bengal rainy season. The frog's head ashes, collyrium, is always gives a view of snakes. Snakes such as Radharani, who was collyrium, the love of Krishna, and so she was found Krishna in everywhere. It is said by my master, our master. They are indeed bound souls who the constantly dwell with the women and gold and do not think of God even for a moment. How can we expect the noble deeds of them? They are like mangoes picked by a crow, which may not be offered to the deity in the temple, and which even man hesitate to eat. Here is a very, very fantastic as usual example here is the souls, the bound souls, that means Baddha Jeev, the bound souls always constantly, eagerly involved with the women and gold, Kamini and Kanchan. That means lust and wealth. That is desire. Desirely they were happened themselves in the gold and women. That means the opponent sex. But Anurag Anjan, without Anurag, he or she, sadhak or sadhika, never come out from the bound. Here is an example was used by our master, such as a mango, the picked by a crow, usually thrown away, never used to serve the god, to the deity in temple, or hesitate we to eat, or we hesitate to eat. Yes, it is necessary. And in our science, biologically we know that when a squirrel, when a crow, others, is picked any fruits, any vegetables, there should be a few extract of the animals. That would be happen danger, that would be harmful to our health. So we naturally try to avoid it. Either not. We should be cutted out a big portion of this wound and wash as well, and then we used to eat by raw or by cook. It is observed by our master fantastically, and here is he was chosen the example for us to understand it. So what is the actual problem of the Baddha Jiva? Baddha Jiv, that means bound souls. Baddha Jiv. We know the free souls such as Narada, Sarad Rishi, others, Shukdev, others. A few of moksha coming. If you want to try to go the God, try to go the supreme power, they can always, without the bindings of households. But the households are always eagerly, usually in women, that means opponent sex, and gold, wealth. Next, bound souls, worldly people are like silkworms. The worms can cut through their cocoons if they want, but having woven and the cocoons them, the slaves, they are too much attached to them to leave them, and so they die there. Here is a fantastic another example of bound soul, such as silkworm. Silkworm is an insect who is inside of the cocoon. If he try or if she try, she can out by cutting the cocoon, but never. She was living there wealthily. The farmer, when harvest the cocoons and to collect the silk, he would be boiled and the silkworm would be die naturally. It is fact. Therefore, the silkworm never come out by cutting the cocoon. It is such as it is a great example of the bound souls. Next, the free souls are not under the control of women and gold. They are some silkworms that cut through the cocoon they have made with such great care, but they are few and far between. But free souls such as Narada Rishi, Sanat, Sukdev, Acharya, and others, the control women and gold. They never bound by the women opponent sex and gold. They were thrown away. They were usually not interested about it. They are some silkworms that cut through the cocoons. They have made the such great care, but they are few far between. ये जो दोनों है ना, इसका हिंदी में अर्थ है, इन इंग्लिश में है, आई ट्राई टू टेल यू. जो cocoon have made with such great care, but they are few and far between. Silkworm would die for their emotion, but the free souls have no emotions. So he was always, so the sadhaka sadhika, the free souls, always avoid the women and gold. That means opponent sex and gold. Next, It is Maya that deludes. Only a few become the spiritually awakened and are not the deluded by the spell of Maya. They do not come under the control of women and gold. That is Maya, that is emotion. Never come out, but always involved. A few times when we learn, it is bad. Its perception is not good. It is avoidable and go outside of this circle to the eternal, to the absolute. But they could not. The bound soul, only free soul can do it. It is told here. And that is the emotion. It is called in Bengali, in Shastra, Hinduism, Maya. There are two classes of perfect souls. Those who they attain of the perfection through the spiritual practice, and those who attain it through the grace of God. Some farmers they irrigate their fields with great labor. Only then can they grow crops. But there are some who do not have to irrigate at all. Their fields are flooded by rain. They don't have to do the trouble of drawing water. One must practice spiritual discipline of the laboriously in order to avoid the clutches of Maya. Those who attain the liberation through the grace of God do not have to labor, but they are few indeed. Very good example here is again. We naturally see the two types of farmer. One is very much laborious and one is lazy. Those are laborious, they are wanted to irrigate the crops well. They are never wait for rain. But if you have only wait for the grace of God, the rain would have been or would have not been. Have been, well, good. The lazy farmers will got a few crops, a few results. Neither not. But the laborious farmer always got the result because he was always irrigated the crops well. There is the pattern of spirituality. The God grace only got, I think, 1% only. And the rest of 99% will got if he have to take seriously job, meditation and others formation learned by the master. It is told here by master. Very, very significant of this point for the spirituality. So the sadhaka or sadhika would be always laborious. Without sadhana bhajan, only wait for the grace of God. The lucky person, lucky sadhak sadhika has got the chance. That is 1%, minimum in figure, very minimum in figure. Next, then there is the class of ever perfect. They are born to each life which the spiritual of the consciousness already awakened. Think of a spring whose the outer is abstract, while looking after various things. In the garden, the plumber, they accidentally clears, each at with the water of the gushes out. The people are amazed to see the first of the manifestation of an ever perfect soul's zeal for God. They say, where was all the devotion and renunciation and love? Very fantastic. Where was all this devotion and renunciation of love? The conversations turn to the spiritual zeal of devotees as they illustrated in the earnestness of the Gopis Vrindavana. Ramlal sang again. So, we are now discussing about the zeal of love. Anurag Anjan, Anurag, the zeal of Krishna, the zeal of God. So here is an example. We know all those story of selfish giant of Oscar Wilde. So here is such as the great grace of God. Without the great grace of God, no zeal will come inside of our heart. But by a practice, we can do near of it, we can reach near of it, and we can do come to it. So, the devotion, renunciation of love and love, tag, prem, tag, এবং bhakti, that is very, very costly in spiritual life. But it will become to us if we try hard and high. So here is by an example of garden, and then my master was closed it with the renunciation, love and devotion. It is very secret for spiritual life. Bhakti, tag, prem. Prem is lust. Who became lover, who became lover, who became lover, she will got the grace of God soon. It is. The topic is very long, so now I am going to close it here. Thanks. Om Niranjanam Nityam Anantarupam Bhaktanukampa Dhrita Vigraham Vai Isha Avataram Paramesamiddham Tam Rama Krishnam Shirasa Namah. Jai Bhakta Bhagavan Bhagavat Ki Jai. The Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. Hari Om Tat Sat.